Hello, and welcome back to Biogamers, with me, Delta, and today, we are going to be playing Final Fantasy XV Windows Edition. I've completed this game before on the PlayStation, but I haven't 100%ed it, which is my goal for this playthrough. And I will go ahead and start creating a new game. Upload. Tutorial. This is probably the best RPG I've ever played, even above Kingdom Hearts and Pokemon Gen 4. So, yeah, that's an RPG. So, it's pretty good. Let's only say that. Also, this thing apparently can communicate via psychic cell phone. Do some combat tutorials. And get an audio test. Okay, turn my volume down a bit. Combat basics, defend yourself. So, right click to phase the attacks. Audiolus 3 times. So basically, click to attack. Okay, I've adjusted graphics slightly so it looks a bit better. Let's fight Gladiolus. Shank him with a sword. And parrying. So for this, you have to. There's some attacks that are blockable. For example, normally more heavy, high damage attacks are blockable. And instead of phasing, you'll block them, and then you can counter to do usually a good amount of damage. Turn the volume down just a bit more. There we go. Basically says, you'll take a lot of damage if you don't. Rude. Okay. Okay, now basically, I just had to fight. Defeat Gladiolus. Combat music. Nope. You always want to parry if you can. Making good damage off that way. And he's facing to the door. Combat basics complete. Whole 0 XP because kit tutorial. So, let's go on to the warping and MP tutorial. So it's F, I guess, to instantly Blade Warp. Basically, this guy Noctis that we're playing as has the ability to throw his sword and then teleport to it. Which is what Blade Warping is. And you can also Warp Strike by holding Shift, and then you can throw your sword at them and then teleport to it. Which is really good for getting into battle. And yeah, it does more damage at longer distances. And you'll see I'm going to be using that a lot. Point Warp is extremely useful as well, because all of this takes MP. As you can see, my MP bar is pretty low. But if you Point Warp, which specific areas around the map you can do, instantly restores all of your MP, which is insanely useful. And then you can Point Warp from, or you can Warp Strike from a Point Warp. And then, let's talk about warping and phasing. Phasing also takes MP. And if you lose all your MP, not only can you not use stuff, you go into stasis, where you're pretty terrible at everything. So you don't want to go into stasis, ever. The only way to get out of stasis is to wait a long time, or to Point Warp. Okay, here's something you'll probably never see me using. Cover. Wait. I said cover. There we go. Basically, you restore MP and, health faster, but I'm never gonna use it. Okay, I'm back. Performing a Point Warp, you know, like I said, restores all MP, so very, very useful. Doesn't restore 8, it does, while you're Point Warp, you will restore HP faster as well. Not instant, though. Ow, rude. This guy Gladiolus here is actually one of our, party members in game, so he's not exactly like an enemy most of the time. Blank Warp Strike for half damage. So now the Resistances tutorial. So as you can see in the bottom left, I got 3 weapons. Let's try attacking. Yeah, 7 damage. Not great right now. And you see it's purple too. Now, there's a good reason for this. You've got different weapons, and every enemy has different resistances and weaknesses. And you have all different kinds of weapons you can use. And, so you want to use things that enemies are weak to, of course. If they're weak to it, it'll obviously do more damage, and the numbers will be orange. If they are resistant to it, you'll do a lot less damage, and the numbers will be purple. So, if I switch to my greatsword here, see, that's neutral against Gladiolus. If I switch to my daggers, those are also neutral. I like daggers on computer. So now, I got a Javelin. So, if I go to the main menu here, and down to gear, it's a buff I have. Let me check that. Rude. Okay, wait, Gear, Noctis. I can now equip the Javelin. I'll go over all the weapons we have once we get in the actual game. You see, if I can stop, you know, failing at dodging. And if I switch to my Javelin... Oh. So now, spells. Magic. Magic is, pretty weird in this game. I usually don't use it, but it is very useful, and I should be using it a lot more than I do. So we just got 5 fire spells. Normally you'd have to craft them, but it's pre-crafted for us right now. So if we go down to gear, Noctis, broadsword is currently not very useful. Let's actually go up the two-handed sword, because the broadsword might come handy later. And we equip our fire there. Spellcasting. So you swap to your weapon, or your spell. There we go, we get that, like, fire grenade-y thing. Okay. Just trying to show it off. There we go, that fire grenade. And we throw it at him. And we drop frame rate, and light him on fire. And, spells have to recharge. It usually takes a lot longer than that. So things are also weak to different types of elements, as well as different types of weapons. Here's another very useless, thing. So instead of actually just taking about 2 seconds to test all your different weapons to see what it's weak to, you could go into the menus and switch to weight mode. So, now has different weaknesses. I'm probably not even going to use weight mode, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, it's not. So, fire's now okay against him. So these graphics look really good. He's strong against polearms. Daggers? He's weak to daggers. There we go. Found our weapon. You see, instead of going into the menus and switching to weight mode and doing all that, you could just, do what I just did. So, we really like daggers on computer. Again, teamwork tutorial.
You rang?
And here's Prompto. So basically, if they're nearby and you attack, you'll do a link strike. So, okay, ow. Strong against that right now. Let's try Great Sword. Yeah, it's weak against that. So normally the same enemies will always be weak against the same things. That was a link strike right there. So, they won't switch weaknesses like Gladiolus is doing. That's just to test out weaknesses, really, and show that off. So, So, there are techniques, which, as you basically do damage, your attack bar will go up, and whenever it reaches, and there's, as you can see in this picture right here, 3 bars to it. And, you can use 1 bar to do some techniques, some require 2, some even require 3. And techniques are basically, you have 1 per character, and they all do different things. And also, I completely forgot to turn sound back on. There we go. So if I can stop dying for 2 seconds, control Piercer. And then if you time it right, you can go in. That camera angle is terrible, and there's not much I can do about it. And yeah. And you can also go to the Ascension menu to unlock new, what are they called again? Techniques? Yeah, techniques along with other things. So, one-shot attack. Okay, gang. So that was supposed to be a one-shot attack, I think. But, I don't know, something happened. And I was supposed to be in danger, and that basically means you're not dead, but you're going to be soon. And your maximum health goes down over time when you're in danger. And so, you can rescue your teammates to get them out of danger too. If their max health gets to 0 from danger, yeah, if you recover, you don't get your max HP back. If their max health drops to 0, they'll be out of the fight and cannot do anything unless you revive them, which is only doable with very rare items. So they'll be out of the fight completely, and then, you know, you'll get them back once the fight's over. If Noctis gets his max HP to 0 from being in danger for too long, then you lose the fight and you have to go back, but, you know, game over pretty much. So, items. T, apparently, is how you use items. So... let's use some elixirs on Noctis first. And an elixir on Prompto.
Yep.
And also, if you use any kind of healing item, you'll get out of danger. And if you tell an ally to use a healing item, they'll get out of danger. So now you just have to team up to take down Gladiolus. Okay, so sword is bad. Go here with that. Okay, no, I was... Piercer. Also, you are invincible when using techniques, so that's very useful.
Try this.
Yeah, that's pretty great. So, let's go to the lore guide, because I'm definitely going to be going through as much lore of this game as possible. So, the world of this game is called Eos, or Eos, however you want to pronounce it. So, let's go through some stuff. The Lands of Eos. 1. Our story takes place in the Lands of Eos. At present, the world is divided between two warring states. Controlling the majority of the world's lands is the militarily mighty Niflheim, an aggressively expanding imperial war machine. The kingdom of Lu-Shi continues to resist the Empire's advance with magic. The crown city of Insomnia stands proud as the kingdom's last bastion, but the Empire has already made inroads on the outlying territories, including the primary regions of Lade, Dusky, and Klein. So there's Lu-Shi, which we are in, probably currently. I'm not sure exactly where this place is, I'm assuming it's there. Anyway, most of the game takes place here in Lu-Shi. And Niflheim is kind of like bad guys. They're bad, as you imagine. You know, generally Imperials are bad in most games. So, old tales tell of 6 gods who have stood watch over Eos since antiquity. It is said that they now slumber, conserving their strength, waiting to awaken upon the coming of a plague known as the Star Scourge. That's very important. She most pure of faith is the Oracle, a daughter in the line of those said to commune with the Six. Blessed by the astral god, she calls forth the power of Eos to heal those who are suffering and afflicted. Her devotion to helping all those in need has inspired reverence for her among people from all over the world. And we actually get to meet the Oracle. In fact, she's a pretty prominent character. The magic of the Lu-Shi. The crystal is the divine cornerstone of the kingdom of Lu-Shi. The stone has a will of its own and channels its sacred power that bringeth the Lu-Shi to the monarch who bears it. Monarchs in the line of Lu-Shi have the innate ability to conjure magical weapons. A handful of close attendants are also afforded access to the self-same power. The magical barrier known as the Wall has long kept the Empire at bay and thereby maintained the peace, yet not entirely without struggle. Sustaining the Wall... sorry for the cut, I keep running out of space. Essentially, this was saying there are demons at nighttime, and nights keep getting longer, and demons keep growing in numbers. And so that's all our lore. In the next episode, we will be starting a new game, and getting into the game itself.